Okay, we're now ready for power chords. I did allude briefly to power chords before, stating that a power chord is like a major chord, except the major third is not in the chord. The only tones that are in a power chord are roots and fifths. So let's start with a 6-string root power chord. We can go back to our E major open position chord. The lowest two notes of that chord are an E root note and a B, and that's the fifth of E. If you were to play an E major scale, that's the 1 or the root, major second, major third, fourth, fifth, major sixth, major seventh, eighth or octave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to play the 1 and the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 5. And that's a root fifth power chord. And that chord can, of course, be expanded to include more strings. As you include more strings, if you want it to be a power chord, you're only going to use the notes E, which is a root note, and B. And we're going to get into that later. But for right now, let's start with 2-note power chords played on the 6th and 5th string. Okay, as stated, we derive this chord from an E major chord. So the note played on the 6th string is the root note of the chord. That's where you get the chord's name. That's an E5 power chord. We move up 1 fret. That's an F5 power chord. F sharp 5, G5, G sharp 5, A5, B flat 5, B5, C5, C sharp 5, D5, E flat 5, and E5 again on the 12th fret. All right, this next example is going to be played using 2-note root fifth power chords played on the bottom 2 strings. This first one is in sort of a thrash metal kind of a style. You'll see what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we can also play that 2-note power chord as a 3-note power chord. As I said before, you're only going to play roots and fifths, E notes and B notes. So we're going to add E on top, make it a 3-note power chord. Root, fifth, root. All right, here's that same example I just played, but played with 3-note power chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, in this next example, I'm going to use some more of those 3-note power chords played on the bottom 3 strings. But this time, I'm going to apply vibrato to the chord, which means when you hit the chord, you pull on the strings, you pull, and then you release the pressure. That's what it would be slowly, but you do it quickly, just sort of squeezing and releasing. Like that, and do it as evenly as possible to get a good sounding vibrato. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here's another example along the same lines. This is sort of in the style of late 60s, early 70s heavy metal and British heavy metal. Here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what you can see I was doing that time is after I played, I didn't go back to an E bar chord. I actually just played the open low E string. It facilitated changing chords, and it also creates a little bit of a different sound, and it sounds cool. In this next example, I'm going to combine 2-note power chords played on the bottom 2 strings with the open E string with single notes. So this is a combination of 2-note power chords and single notes incorporated into one rhythm part. And you'll hear this in the playing of power metal bands like Pantera. 1, 2, 3, 4. And one thing you'll notice I was doing there at the end, I was pulling the whole chord just to give it an even heavier kind of demented sound. All right, now let's do fifth string root 2 and 3 note power chords. Just as we had gotten the sixth string root power chords derived from the E major open position chord, these are going to be derived from the A major open position chord. We played A major like that. We're just going to use the root and the fifth. If you played an A major scale, that's the root, major second, major third, fourth, fifth, major sixth, major seventh, eighth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going to play the root 1 and the 5. 1, 5, that's root fifth. Here's your 2-note A5 power chord. If you move one fret up, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A again at the 12th fret. Make sure you memorize all those positions. And of course, you can play these as 3-note power chords, just like we did with E. Root, fifth, root on the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings. A5, B flat 5, B5. All right, here's some examples that are going to incorporate that type of chord voicing. This first example is played in sort of the style of a classic rock, early 70s metal. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here's another example played in the style of classic 70s metal. 1, 2, 3, 4.